I like to look at each full moon as like this little charging station in our lives. There's this extra abundance of energy around a full moon. Some people use it to release things from their lives, whereas other people may use it to help them manifest things into their lives. You know, right now we're living in a world of, and you gotta admit, things are a little chaotic right now. Things are kind of in this upheaval pattern. Maybe things feel very heavy to you. It all depends on your perception, of course. But you gotta admit, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of people sitting in emotions of anger. So we can use this full moon in particular to really power through to some capacity for our own personal growth or spiritual growth, whatever you want to call it. So in this video, I'm going to give you 4 things to really pay attention to pay extra attention to during this full moon. Sit tight. As you may know, the moon is considered yin in nature, whereas the sun is considered yang in nature. So when we have a full moon, it's almost like this combination of the yin and the yang, right? Because the moon is this darkness, right? And the sun is illuminating the moon to the full capacity. So we can take this as a very symbolic thing within ourselves as we're going throughout life, as we're trying to navigate the world right now. If you feel like things are kind of all over the place, use this full moon for your own personal benefit. The first thing to really pay attention to during this time is your dreams. We all know that we may have weird, vivid dreams a few days before, during, and after a full moon. But dreams can give us a bit of more insight, more clarity, maybe on our purpose, maybe what we need to let go of that's toxic in our lives. Because dreams are delving into what? Our subconscious mind. So if we think of the subconscious mind as more of this yin in nature, whereas the conscious mind more yang in nature. So again, this balance where we can bring out more of that stuff from the subconscious that's lingering. So really pay attention to the symbolism in your dreams, right? Don't always take them literally, of course, but any kind of insights, you can use this time to really write down what you're thinking, because it's almost like opening a gateway. It's almost like opening a doorway into what's going on down there, okay? And you may, again, like I said, get clarity, because the full moon does enhance just everything. It enhances our emotions, it enhances the energy, it enhances our ability to perceive and our ability to have extrasensory, perception in a lot of cases as well. So, you may think, oh, full moon, it's going to make me psychic, maybe. Not necessarily you're going to wake up and know the future of everything in your life, but it can give you clarity and insight. Number 2 thing to be especially aware of during this full moon, your emotions. So as I said before, it seems like the world's sitting in just states of anger, right? Or fear in some cases, but mostly anger, I would say, where a lot of people are just angry, they're frustrated, they're fighting all the time. But we know that whenever there's a full moon, for example, people can get a little nuts, can get crazy, right? You have more road rage, perhaps. So you really have to pay attention to what you're feeling, because we all know that when we have those impulse reactions in life, because of some sort of trigger, and there's a lot of triggers going on in the world right now, that it can lead down a road of negative consequences for us. So we really have to be aware of tapping into what we're feeling, really being aware of it. And that's the key, because a lot of people, they're not really, they know they're angry, but they're just like, it's just like their default. They're just being triggered over and over again, and their body's in this constant state of fight or flight, which is not good for the body overall. It doesn't make us feel good. I don't think people want to be angry all the time. They just don't know any other way. They never learned how to really pay attention to that and kind of pacify that for themselves. So whenever you have a full moon, you get these heightened states of emotions. But it's not a bad thing. You just have to use it for good and not evil. Use it for enhancing something in your life, or recognizing something in your life, or letting go of something in your life, or manifesting something in your life, rather than using it for just projection, okay, for toxic influences. So it's really important to pay attention to your emotions, feel what you need to feel it coursing through, and then find a way to let it out, okay? Can't hold it inside. Let it out of you, write it down, realize what you're feeling. So we get this extra surge of energy, but it doesn't have to be used for negativity, in a sense, right? For toxic things in our lives, because that's not going to enhance any of our personal growth, as we know. And one more thing, the emotion of anger, sometimes it's not all our anger. And I'm really going to, because I think it's important, really going to linger on this topic just for this one, because of just how things are right now. And there's so many people sitting in anger, like I said. A lot of times our anger is kind of from a collective anger. It's not our own emotion necessarily. It feels like it is, but it's a matter of paying attention and separating, okay, why am I angry? Am I angry because I've been around a lot of anger? I've been around this environment where I need to now set boundaries, and I need to, especially when the energy surge or the energy is heightened. Where is this anger coming from, and is it mine? Where is this emotion coming from, and is it all mine, or is it part of a collective unit? Number 3 thing to pay extra attention to right now, how does your body feel during a full moon? A few days before, a few days after. I've noticed that some people will feel really energized by a full moon, and other people may feel really drained by it. I've felt both. It kind of can be both at the same time, where you do feel this surge of energy, but at the same time, it can drain you if you're not careful. So you really have to pay attention to, and you'll see lots of videos and you'll read lots of stuff about full moons, how to really tap into it, what you should do with it, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not dancing around outside naked around the fire chanting to a full moon, but I do put my crystals out. Okay, my neighbors might not like the first option. They wouldn't know what to think, but I do have a bowl of crystals that I put out and charge. So I'm only half new agey, you could say. But depending on what ritual you do, listen to your body, okay, during this time. Do you need more rest? Are you feeling drained by it? That might mean that you need to pull away, maybe from social media, from things that are overwhelming you. Maybe sit and write and reflect more, use it to reflect more. Whereas if you're on the other side where you feel this surge of energy, maybe you need to get out in nature. Maybe you do need to dance around a fire singing or something. Or maybe you need to take that extra energy and use it for a creative outlet. So there's different ways that you can utilize a full moon. You can use it to let go of stuff, but you can also use it because it is this kind of surge of energy to enhance something. It enhances your emotions. So enhance to manifest things in your life, and you can write it down or whatever it is that works for you, right? So really pay attention to whether you feel really energized or really drained. Maybe you need to eat more nourishing foods and just kind of chill out and not do as much. Or maybe we're still in summertime right now too, which is the yang is very potent. So maybe you need to move more, okay? It's all up to the individual. And number 4 thing to really pay attention to, or not so much pay attention to, but remember, your light illuminates from the darkness. So everything in nature is circular in fashion. Everything in your life is circular in fashion. History is a big circle. Things are not linear like we think. So if you think about it, we come from pre-birth, right? Before we're born, we're in darkness. Then we come out into the light, and then we eventually come back into ourselves, into the darkness. So like I said, full moons can be very, very symbolic of our own inner light, and taking any kind of darkness that maybe you're experiencing now or have experienced in the past and use it to illuminate the world, okay? okay? Your luminosity is super important in this world, where you can take those things, those experiences that you've been through, and you can help other people through it, help the world through it, right? Do something creative through it, build some sort of legacy for yourself from something dark in your life. So again, we're a balance of yin and yang, right? We're not all light, we're not all dark, we're a combination of both of these things and the ebbs and flows of it. So I think it's really important to look at the symbolism behind a full moon, how, you know, the moon and the sun, and it all works in patterns, right? Our lives work in patterns where we go throughout this life to experience things, to learn things, to grow from things, and eventually to find ourselves again, to discover our true selves. Because we'll go through periods of trying to be who we're not, or going through periods of trying to be, you know, copying other people, or just living out of our egos and living on a very superficial level. But then I think as we go on, or as we're growing spiritually, we come back into this kind of simplicity for ourselves. And by simplicity, I don't mean boring or dull. I mean simplicity in the fact that we know who we are. We have better understanding of maybe our purpose. We have more clarity, more insight. We listen to ourselves more and our own intuition over the noise outside, right? We're not affected as much by maybe triggers. We don't impulse react as much, perhaps. So this is the kind of growth that I'm talking about. And each full moon is an opportunity to remember that and to really work on that for ourselves. So I think it's kind of like this process that never ends, but it's always like we're always enhancing ourselves to some degree. So those are just some things to pay extra attention to right now. I think this is a, you know, every full moon that comes along obviously often. So it's not like a once in a lifetime thing, but we can use each full moon to really tap into that heightened state of awareness, that heightened state of energy for ourselves. And this one in particular, I think is important because just the way the world is right now, I feel like it's really needed for us to work on ourselves, have that inner growth, illuminate, you know, so that we spread more of that throughout the world rather than sitting in these states of anger and toxicity and all kinds of stuff. So that's all I got for today. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like this, please share it with your friends. Please subscribe. I appreciate you supporting this channel. I really, really do. And I will see you on the next video. Happy full moon. Peace.